Bhimeshwar, Secretary ISA, Dr. Eli Larasan, Professor Jay Kumar, Dr. Muralidhar, Dr. Bade, other respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, respected faculty and delegates for this PONSAC 2013, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pleased that JIPMA is the host site for PONSAC 2013, and I have special pride in inviting you all to this, what we call a temple of learning. Your theme focused on patient safety and evidence-based medicine resonates with me personally, as I am passionate about this, as they all know in JIPMA, and it's also congruent with our institute's priorities. I will just tell you one anecdote, my personal anecdote, and in the interest of full disclosure, that's the only way we can improve our safety and quality. I will not name the institution, but I was a postgraduate doing my first thyroidectomy. That was in 1975. The operation went very smoothly. My unit chief was very proud that I was able to do without much blood loss. The total blood loss was 5 cc's. We did a near total thyroidectomy with preserving a parathyroid gland. Operation went smooth. The unit chief, very respected professor, shook my hands and he left. And I was starting to clean up and close the incision after closing the strap muscles in the neck. I found that there was not even a oozing in the field of operating room. And slowly I saw the tissue are getting dusk from being pink. And I was asking the anesthesiologist that, when we started to close, he said, I'm turning off nitrous oxide. I forget which it was, probably nitrous oxide. And he's turning on oxygen only. I said, how long will it take? I'm going to finish in 5 minutes. So he's going to turn off the gas and give only oxygen so the patient will wake up at the end of the procedure, because we want to see the vocal cords. And as I was closing, there's no blood pressure. And soon there was no monitor at the time. And the blood pressure was checked. The pressure was not recordable. And I asked him, what happened? Why is it dusky? Not bleeding? Is it a cardiac rhythm? And we were starting to attach the electrocardiographic lead. Long and short of it was that as he was turning off nitrous oxide, he was turning off oxygen. The connection those days were universal connections. And we didn't know what was it until the autopsy was done. It was all hypoxic injury. And I felt terrible that I killed this patient. And so we didn't have patient safety. Now I turn you back 11 years, in 1986. I was at Harvard, young faculty, joined on January 2nd after New Year's Day. I was given the offer after Christmas. The chief at that time was my mentor when I did research at the Brigham and Women's Hospital at Harvard. And he became a chairman. He asked me whether I'll join him as his faculty. I said, I went tonight or tomorrow morning. So I went and joined him as a faculty. We were doing our first liver resection. And liver resection those days has a 10% mortality rate. And I remember the patient, Mr. Edward Ott. It was the second Saturday, January 16th, I remember. Maybe it was a little off the date. And he asked me, he wanted to do it on a Saturday morning, which is not a regular operating room day, because other days were packed. And this patient was referred from outside of the country to us. And it was a major liver tumor, right side of the liver, and it's a very risky operation. And I was asked to serve with my chief, again with my chief, he's Dr. Glenn Steele, as a first assistant. And in the US, one of the things is that when you're a chief resident, when you're finishing the final year, you do the surgery. Not the chief does it, the chief assists you. And that is a very practical advancement in the US. And my chief resident, I was a young attending surgeon, my chief resident was operating, and the chairman was on the other side. I was next to the chief resident, assisting as a second assistant. And as he was rotating the liver, because of the weight of the tumor, they tore the vena cava. And within 15 seconds, we lost 5 liters of blood. The whole thing welled up. The patient lost the whole blood volume. because the vena cava, all the blood returned, is not getting there. And soon enough, the chief pushed him, this resident, get away from this field, and then asked me to come and repair it. Here I'm sweating, and now I'm responsible, no blood pressure. And I told one of the eminent anesthesiologists at the time, I don't know if he's well, at that time he's known as G. Pierce. And he was known to have introduced patient safety systems in anesthesia in the US. So I told Jeep, I'm going to put my finger in, I'm not sure where my finger is, I'm going to take this liver, tear it up, and then put my finger to close the dike. Please get the pressure up. And 45 seconds, now I could see the pressure. Now we have the monitor, electrocardiogram, getting bradycardic, means heart rate was now 25, and the blood pressure was 0. And Jeep, 45 seconds, he brought it up to 70 and 90. And I somehow, by luck, I got my thumb on the hole in the vena cava and pinched it, and then put the clamp, and then repaired it. And the patient, long and short of it, is survived. And he went home 7 days after surgery. So when I finished the operation, all sweating, my chief looked at me and my chief resident and the patient and said, told me, Dr. A. Ravi, if not for you, I would have killed 2 people, the patient and my chief resident. And I corrected him, Dr. Steele, if not for Jeep, you would have killed 3 people. You would have included me in the people who have killed, because I wouldn't have been able to save this patient. So I think anesthesiologists are in the forefront of establishing safe systems in practice. It's not like you are doing by your own thing, you work harder, make it safer, but we have to work smarter, not harder and harder. We can work only so hard. So I learned from anesthesiology the science of patient safety, and they led the way. Now we cannot connect oxygen to nitrous oxide because the locks won't fit, so you can't make that mistake. You have systems in place, you monitor everything, you can rapidly transfuse 5 liters, replace the blood volume in 30 seconds to 45 seconds and save patients. So South Zone of ISA has contributed immensely in the development of anesthesia all over India. This is evident by the eminent persons from this region donning the mantle of President and Secretary of the national body. JIPMA, being the oldest, one of the premier institutes in India, has been the forefront of the development of academic excellence in anesthesia. This can be gauged by the fact that one will find anesthesiologists trained in JIPMA across all continents in many countries. Many cities in India have anesthesiologists from JIPMA contributing to the development and ensuring of safe patient care. Presently, JIPMA is at the forefront of anesthesia training for all surgical specialties and subspecialties and is imparting pain relief to patients which include cancer, non-cancer pain, chronic pain, and labor pain. Fellowship courses in cardiac and neuroanesthesia and critical care are conducted, and training for nursing and other paramedical personnel are also carried out by our anesthesia faculty. Going forward, plans are in place for fellowships in pediatric anesthesia, obstetric anesthesia, and emergency and trauma anesthesia. The JIPMA anesthesia faculties have contributed immensely to the capacity building of anesthesia in the country, skills maintenance by conducting conferences, CMEs, and workshops all over India and international levels, leadership in research, evidenced by publications in international levels. Equally important, if not more important, I wish to sing the praise of our faculty, including anesthesia faculty, namely our mission of serving the underserved, one of the twin strands of our DNA, the other strand being finding new knowledge. And in so doing, our faculty and staff contribute significantly to the universal healthcare mission of India. We do all this excellence in education, research, and patient safety with free care to 99.5% of the people we see as patients each and every day. Thus, we contribute single-handedly to the reduction of out-of-pocket expenditure of the poorest sections and middle-income sections of India and recipients, and alleviate the medically induced iatrogenic poverty. So I'm very proud to be here sharing my personal anecdote with you and inviting all of you in the presence of our august Chief Minister and the dignitaries from Anesthesia Society of South Zone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to call upon our guest of honor, Dr. Brigadier T. Prabhakar VSM, National President of the Indian Society of Anesthesiologists, to address the gathering.